Hey everyone, I wanted to show you today how I actually make YouTube videos, the equipment I'm using, and how I make it get from the point of I'm just singing and playing my guitar to actually uploading or ready to upload a video. So if you've been on my channel before, you know that mostly I'm putting out cover songs or original songs, but I'm standing here loud with my guitar playing along and recording stuff. And I kind of wanted to just show you just what I use and how I make that work to get these videos done. I'm not going to get into a lot of detail or a lot of depth with any particular area, but give you kind of a brief overview of the whole thing. And if you're hoping to be able to make videos like this, my encouragement to you is just continue to use this process to grow. Right? I'm one of those people who gets stuck on trying to make as perfect as I possibly can everything that I do, and what that does is it keeps you stuck in this tunnel, and it keeps you from actually growing and continuing to progress. So give yourself a time frame. Say this is, within a week, 2 weeks, a month, whatever your posting schedule is going to be. I should be able to accomplish getting a video done, and stick to it. Right? Like, it may not be perfect, but that's okay, because you can look back at those videos later on and say, yeah, I can see the growth. I can see how I've improved over that time, and let that be the accomplishment over that period of time. But let me just jump in and show you what I'm using to make this work. So as you can see, this is how everything usually looks when I'm making a video. I've got my two lights back here, and I actually have a ring light set up over here that I will show you now. Here is my ring light that's set up. It's on my desk with everything else, so I've got my whole setup here. But this ring light is set up to give an actual front-facing light, because if it doesn't have that, the lights in the room here, like these pot lights you can see, they just give you an overhead light. So I'm actually going to show you, this is what it looks like with the light on. Now let me show you with the light off. So that's what this room looks like without that ring light on. You can tell that it's pretty dark. If I turn the main lights on in this room, just like the regular ceiling lights, and this is how I recorded videos at the beginning, like this is what they look like. You can see that all the lights coming down from the top, the bottom part of my face is really shaded in, and it doesn't actually look like a good quality video, right? It looks like I'm just standing in a room in my house recording. Whereas when you have that light on, even with these room lights, you can see there's a lot more front-facing light. My actual face is lit up a bit more, and you can see a lot. Now, you're going to get some interference with the lights in the ceiling, which is why I leave them off. And now you can see there's a lot more clarity to your actual face, your features. When it comes to video itself, I actually use my iPad Air. So it just sits here on my desk. Sometimes I prop something just behind it to put it up on a different angle so that I get the right angle in the room. But that's it. I'm just recording right on this tablet, and I personally like it because it's got a nice big screen on it. So you can see right now I'm getting a pretty good image of what I look like. I can tell if I'm too far back. I can tell if I'm too far forward. So like I'm not cutting my head off in the actual frame. I can see all that, which is good. You can use your phone if you want. You can use a standalone camera, but generally I would always recommend having some way to be able to reference what the actual image looks like. So if you're using a standalone camera and you have a screen that's connected to that, that's giving you like a monitor that's giving you that image, that's probably the way to go, just so you can see what's going on. When it comes to audio quality, there's a few different things that you can do. You could potentially just use the quality that's coming off of whatever device you're recording from. So in this case, right now you are hearing the tablet audio, and that's what it sounds like. But there's a bit of a distance from where I'm standing to the tablet. And I found when I was doing that early on with the tablet, it was actually creating artifacts in the sound, which that just means that there's like extra noise, unwanted noise that you don't want. And in some cases, because I'm playing guitar and singing at the same time, the tablet's trying to figure out what source or what sound to actually focus on, and it had some difficulty trying to pick between the two, so it made a weird sort of volume jump sometimes in the actual recording. So I ended up moving away from that. You could use something that's closer to your actual source. So they have those like clip-on Bluetooth mics, or something that's got a cable. Those work well. You really have to try it out and see if it works for your situation. In this case, right now, you're going to be hearing the audio from just my iPhone, and that's what it sounds like, having the actual source a lot closer to your person. But realistically, I think the best option is to always have a standalone microphone that's set up that's going to be capturing that sound. That's going to give you the best quality. And I use this Shure SM7B. It's not the cheapest microphone, but it did the job for me compared to some other microphones that I have. That's what I had been using, and I found that it worked really well. It gave me a nice balance between the guitar and the vocals, and because I'm only using one mic, both of those sounds are coming in at the same time, recorded on the same channel, through the same microphone, and this gave me a nice balance between those two sources. So for me, I had it, I'm using it, and it works well. You can notice that the microphone's actually set up on a bit of an angle, so you can see this here. There's an angle up to this microphone, which is because I'm pointing it as much as I can towards my head, so I'm getting more of the singing sound of my recording than I am the guitar, because the guitar's got usually a pretty loud volume in this space, and I want to be able to capture more of the vocals compared to the guitar, right? So the guitar should sit a little bit lower than the vocals do in the mix. So that's just what I chose to use because, again, I have it, and it does the job for me. You may like just using the audio from your tablet or your phone, and that does the job for you. But I hope that as you've heard the difference in the sounds, that you also would agree with me that the microphone as a standalone thing picks up the best out of the options that are here. To be able to move in that direction, you would have to consider a few options. You could buy a USB microphone, and what that means is it's a microphone itself that actually has a USB cable that plugs right into your computer, and it will allow you to record whatever audio you want to. It is generally going to be the most budget-friendly option, but it does have some limitations in what it can do. Usually the quality of a USB microphone is not as good as a standalone microphone that would run on an XLR cable. And an XLR cable is just a 3-pin balance cable. I'll show you what that looks like on the screen so you have an idea. But that is going to give you a better sound using a standalone microphone than a USB microphone. However, the USB microphone is again going to be budget friendly, way more convenient because you just plug the microphone right into your computer, and will help you to be a lot more portable too if you want that. The other thing that might be hard if you want to go in the USB microphone direction is you don't have the option to have multiple sources. So if you're like me and you're just recording one thing, then it may work for you, right? Like I'm picking up vocals and guitar at the same time on one microphone. I could potentially use a USB mic and do that. But if you want to actually separate the sound to be able to mix those different sounds separately, then you're going to need some way to record your guitar and your vocals at the same time on 2 different channels, right? Or on 2 different sources. And to be able to do that, you actually can't use a USB mic. You need to change to something else, which now brings us into the realm of audio interfaces. Well, what in the world is an audio interface? It is an external sound card. It is its job is to convert analog signal to digital so that your computer can now understand what it's receiving. So every computer has a sound card. What that allows the computer to do is it takes digital signal. Let's say you're listening to something off of Spotify. That signal's coming in digitally. Your sound card in your computer is now converting that sound to analog to allow your speakers in your computer to give you that sound that you can hear in real life, right? This just works in the opposite direction. It takes your actual sound through a microphone or through, whatever else you're using, and it takes that analog sound and it converts it to a digital sound so that your computer can now recognize it. I personally use this Apollo unit here. It's probably a bit more overkill than most of you are going to need for what you're doing, but again, I've done recording in the past and more extensive stuff, and this is what I had, so that's what I'm using. And the main thing that you want to look at when it comes to audio interfaces, and these things are going to change all the time, so I'm not necessarily going to recommend something right now that's current, because in a year from now it could not even be available anymore. But what you want to look up is audio interface, and then how many channels you need. So you have to decide for yourself, do I just need 1 or 2 channels? Like I just need one for guitar, one for vocals. Am I doing like drums and I need to have multiple channels? Maybe I want 4 channels or 8 channels. All of these things are for you to consider and decide how many channels you need to record simultaneously, right? If you're going to record each thing one thing at a time, then it doesn't matter. You can get away with a 1 channel or 2 channel interface. But if you need to record multiple things at the same time, then you need that many channels to be able to record it. But for the most part, you're probably going to need a 1 or 2 channel interface. So that's what I would look up. Audio interface, 2 channel, and just compare what's available, find something within my budget, and get that. So now I have an interface. Again, you're going to need probably a computer or something that you're actually recording that information on. But you've got the computer, you've got the interface. Now you need a microphone. There are 2 main types of microphones you can look at: dynamic and condenser microphones. For most people recording like songs and covers on YouTube, you're probably going to want to look into a condenser mic. What that means is it's a microphone that actually runs on what they call phantom power, which is 48 volts of power that runs through your XLR cable into the microphone to power it, which allows it to be more sensitive, picking up more of the actual audio around you. And generally they have a good clarity to them, a good quality as well. So I would look into condenser microphones within your budget as well. Same thing as the audio interface. Look at some reviews, ask some questions, figure what you need. But when it comes to microphones, this may be a bit more of a trial and error type process, where one microphone within a certain price point may sound really good with one person's voice, and you try it with someone else and it just doesn't seem to complement their voice as well. And you'll find this over time, that there are some microphones that just sound better than other microphones to you. So some of that's a bit of a learning experience. In other cases, you can, again, just rely on the recommendations of other people who have been doing this, and hopefully they can help you to get matched up with something that's going to work for your needs. But there's usually something within your budget, within your price point that you could get to just get going in this process. And like I said earlier, it's a lot about just getting going, making things work for you, and being able to continue to grow on this journey as you work on recording music and getting it out there. Now, we have our interface, we have our microphone, we have our XLR cable, we've got our whatever we're using to record our video, we've got our lighting set up. We're almost ready to actually get something recorded, but we do need just 2 other things, and both of them are software for our computer. So the first one is actually how we capture the audio. Right, so we've got all this audio being converted from analog to digital through our interface. It goes into our computer. Now our computer needs some way to actually record that information. This is what is called a digital audio workstation, or a DAW. And what this software does is it actually records that source, that information, to be able to be used. So I personally use Logic Pro. You can see this one track here where this microphone's coming in. It's actually recording right now live through this process. Logic is a paid program, and again, it gives you a lot of features that you may not need. Right? If you're just looking to record 1 or 2 channels, do some basic shaping like EQing and compression, you can probably get away with one of the free softwares that they offer out there, or even some of the free softwares that they give you with your computer. So for example, if you're using an Apple computer like I am, I use Logic Pro, which is sort of the larger form, I guess, of GarageBand, right? You can use GarageBand. GarageBand's a great program, especially if you're not needing, again, a lot of different features. You can get in there, get things recorded, do some shaping as much as you want, and then export that and be able to actually get a video uploaded. I would really recommend starting somewhere like that, because it doesn't crowd you with too many features that you got to try and navigate and figure out. There's a learning curve to everything. And when it comes to some of these bigger programs, it's trying to figure out where certain features are to be able to make even sometimes simple tasks achievable. And using a free program will often give you features in a way that are very accessible, like very easy to use, pretty straightforward. So it gives you a way to just get a handle on everything before you move into something that's going to take a bit more time to learn. So I would do that. You get it recorded. Personally, I actually do some EQing and some compression on the actual input channel that I'm using, and then on the bus channel, or like the output channel, I use more compression and a limiter to make sure that my audio is not too loud where it's clipping. I can dive into that a bit more if you want to. Let me know if you want me to make a video just going into more details of the mixing side of things within the DAW. But for right now, that's just where I'm going to leave that. Once that's done, you can then export from your DAW all of that audio. It's ready to go. So now you should have your video that you've recorded on whatever your device is. That's on its own. And then your audio that you've recorded and exported through your DAW. To get these to go together, you now need software to actually do some video editing. Now, there are a lot of free options for video editing software as well. You could go and even get something just for your phone. Just do all of your editing right on your phone itself, and have it that way. What this allows you to do, again, is just to put these two things together. You line them up, make sure that the video is synced, and then it is good to be exported from there and uploaded to your YouTube channel. So as much as you need some learning curve with learning the recording software for audio, the video editing software is, again, going to have somewhat of a learning curve to it. But if you use this as a process to continue to grow, to continue to develop, to continue to build upon these skills, then all of these things are an investment for your channel. A personal investment for you to be able to continue to work on so that you can continue to improve your videos over time. So that's sort of the basic rundown. That's the behind the scenes, I guess, of my own video making process. I hope that's been helpful for you. I hope that gives you just some things to think about. Hopefully gets you started on your journey if you haven't already, or maybe you have and it's given you just some more clarity on some of these things. And I'm always here if you want to just drop a comment, let me know if you have any questions, and I will do my best to help answer those for you. So thank you so much for being here, for watching this video. Again, I hope it's been informative and helpful to you. And as always, love you guys.